Hi everyone, it's Danny. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am participating in the What Are You Thankful For Mixed Media Frenzy hop here on YouTube. And I'm going to be scrapping a couple of photos of my son and my daughter just hanging out on the couch together. In the first one they're sitting side by side happily, and in the second one they're cuddling and watching TV together. And I'm just super grateful for the relationship these two have. It makes my life so much easier. They get on so well and they just love each other. So that is definitely something I'm very thankful for. So I printed them both in black and white because they were just a lot of colors going on, and the lighting was a bit iffy as well, so I just decided black and white was probably going to be easiest. I'm using a Hip Kit Club, a Pocket Life kit, and then I've added in a bunch of papers and alphas and things from one of their grab bags to make a full kit. And it's very kind of Thanksgiving fall themed, so I thought that would be appropriate for this hop theme. I'm just going through some of the pocket cards now. I do choose that captured moment card. I really like it, just that it's got the scripty font and the leaves on it. And I'm just going to tuck this. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but it's like a golden floral pattern on a white background. So I'm just going to add another layer with that. I will just let you know before I go any further that my daughter is in the room with me as I'm doing this voiceover, and she's blowing raspberries and banging around quite a bit. So if you hear some background noise, sorry, there's not much I can do about it. I'm just going through all the pattern papers now, trying to find a background paper, and I do settle on this. It's kind of like an aqua, tealy, greeny blue color with love hearts, and I think it's from a Pink Paisley collection, but I'm not sure which one. And I've already cut a chunk out of the center, as you can see, but my photo cluster and my embellishments will cover that up nicely. So I'm just going to glue these bits and pieces on top, and then I will come in at the back with just some plain sellotape, scotch tape, whatever you call it, wherever you come from, just to hold that all together. Make sure you check out the description box below as well once you finish watching this for all the other ladies that are participating in this hop. There's a bunch of us over on the Mixed Media Frenzy page, so definitely check that below if you'd like to hop along and have a look. There's lots of really talented people involved, so definitely worth a look at all of those. Okay, I've got these layered stickers. They're from Jen Hatfield, I believe. They're really pretty. I just had to fix it because that text little, I think it says home, that little text banner was actually like pushed underneath the house so you couldn't read the words. So yeah, I kind of had to manipulate that a little bit to get that to work. But that covers up that hole that was still there really nicely as well. So I do put that frame on the top. I love the color, but it doesn't end up making it. It just, yeah, I don't know, it was overwhelming everything a little bit too much. I am going to pull out all the leaves. I use most of the leaves and I think all of the mushrooms that are in this kit, or in this embellishment pack. It was a Hip Kit Club exclusive, I'm pretty sure. I've also got these, they're just clear stickers. I thought they were rub-ons, but they're actually clear stickers, and I think they're from Pink Paisley. So they're going to make up part of my title. I'm going to pull in this tiny little text that says, oh, what does it say? Moments spent with you, I think. And I was hesitant to stick it on my photo there. I was really struggling to commit because it's a home printed photo, so I knew if I had to pull it up, I would pull up all the ink as well. But I do end up just coming in and committing and sticking it down because I couldn't place the rest of my title without it. And in the end, I'm not super happy with the placement of it, but it does a job. I can't move it now, so I'm not going to redo the layout just for that one little detail that no one will probably notice. I'm going to use that little You and Me die cut, and the rest of my title I'm going to fill in with these little puffy stickers in the mustard colour, and I'm just going to put grateful for, even though the title of this hop is thankful for. I always seem to mess up the title when I do these hops, but it's the same thing. I mean, you guys know what I mean. So, and I am very grateful for these two. I love their relationship. They're just so sweet together. So I've just lined those up on a bit of packaging, and then I'm just going to press them down and pull out the packaging from underneath, and that keeps them all nice and straight. Really happy with that. And then I'll just add a little bit of double-sided tape to the back of that You and Me die cut. Stick that down. And then I'm going to start building my embellishment clusters. So again, mostly leaves and mushrooms. These photos were taken in June, so technically it was winter, not autumn, but our autumn season is really short and not particularly cold, so the photos still just look like we're in summer when we take the autumn photos. So really the best time for me to use all these autumn themed bits and pieces is during the colder months of the year. So I mentioned this before, I do live in the subtropics, so yeah, it's warm here most of the year. So I'm just going through here with all these pieces that have a white border on them and cutting that off with my little scissors. It just really bothers me mixing and matching the ones with the border and the ones without. I don't mind having the border if they all have it and it's not too thick, but yeah, all those leaves are borderless, so I just had to go through and fuzzy cut all those bits. Now I'm just coming in with my Pigma Micron pen and doing some faux stitching around the outside of this white card. It was just a little bit stark and yeah, flat looking for me, so that just adds a bit of interest and detail. I'm just going to build my top cluster there. I will end up moving that barrel so it covers up that kind of awkward angle that I've got going there between the two cards, but that'll be a little bit later. I'm just tucking in these leaves all the way around in my different clusters. And at the moment I built these 2 clusters, and I will realize in a minute I would like to do a third, and I need to find a space for that. So just tucking in all these little mushrooms, trying again to find a spot for that mushroom. It doesn't make it into that cluster, but it does make it into my third cluster, thankfully, because it's really cute. I just love these little mushrooms. Okay, so now I've moved all my bits and pieces off because I want to create a third cluster. So I'm just going to tear a little bit off the bottom of my page. So I've trimmed off the branding strip, and I'm just going to tear out the lower right corner. Near the corner anyway. There we go. Just tear off all that extra white, and then I'll just cut off a piece of this journal card. I just want the wood grain really, and glue it on. Just make sure I'm lining it up there, and then I'll just use my fingers to fluff up the edge of that paper just to give it a bit more texture. And it kind of reminds me of a little hill for the mushrooms to sit on, and then I'll add a little leaf as well. So I'm just going to come in a minute with my pen, because quite a few of these leaves are very similar color to the background paper, and even that green, it's quite close, so they're just kind of fading away. So I'm just going to trace around the outside and then add some leaf veins with my pen, and that just helps to add some more detail, some more definition, and helps them stand off the page and not just fade into the background. And I will go through with most of those leaves and bend them in the middle as well, so that creates additional dimension. And yeah, so I'm just trying to vary the style of veining that I'm doing on each of these leaves, so they're all a little bit different. There we go, and I'll do this green one at the top, and I think I do that yellow one as well later on. The heart-shaped one that's off to the right there, that does make it on the layout eventually. So once I've got all those done, I'm just going to go through with my glue, and I'm adding glue just to the base or to the center of the leaf. So this one I'm bending it up in the middle and then just adding glue to the center. Kind of similar to how you would do a butterfly, but with the leaves it just helps make them look more dimensional. I'm just using tacky glue in my little fine liner bottle there, bending those leaves again. And I'll just slowed it down for a minute so you can see me rearranging this cluster, because I ended up gluing it down a little bit differently to how I had built it. So there we go. I do end up taking that. Does that pumpkin make it back on? I can't remember. I think I took it off because it was just a bit too much of a pop of that bright orange. It was taking my gaze away from the photo. That little fox is quite bright, but he's a little bit of a deeper red and he's closer to the photos, so it does help you draw your eye to the photos rather than away from them. So I've just come through and cut all those, there's a little strip of those 5 flowers together, so I cut them all apart. They're teeny tiny, it wasn't particularly easy, but I got there. And I'm just going to sprinkle those around my clusters just as little teeny tiny bits of interest. I love doing that with tiny embellishments like this. And just a spot of tacky glue behind each one will hold them down nicely. And I'm coming in with some Nouveau drops, so I'm just using a champagne gold colour that is called pale gold in the crystal drops, and then I will come in with the vintage drops in the white and do a couple of those in each cluster as well. So I'm just going to do 3 of the gold ones and then 2 of the white ones in each cluster. Just sprinkling those around. I do add a few on top of my photo as well. I really like that effect. They really stand out. I just love the detail these provide. And the very last thing I'm going to do is stamp my dates. So I'm just using my roller date stamp, and I'm going to stamp both dates because there were 2 separate days. So I'm just going to stamp them next to each other, and then I will come in with my Pigma Micron and do a little hyphen in between so that you know it's both the dates. And at this point I thought I was done. I was ready to go, and then I realized there's something missing. This is for the Mixed Media Frenzy Hop, and I have not done any mixed media, so I panicked slightly, and then I've just decided to come in with my tried and true Kaisercraft Snowy stencil. I love this stencil. It's probably my most used stencil that I own. If I'm not sure what to use, I just go for this one. So I've just pulled that out, and I'm just pushing through some iridescent medium. It's by the company Reeves, and it's a really beautiful, like shiny metallic medium. You can mix it with paint, but I mostly just use it on its own because I really love the pearlescent effect that it gives. So I've just pushed that through the stencil, just kind of around my clusters. Now I'm going to do a few of these teeny tiny stamped leaves. I think they're a Martha Stewart stamp. They're really old. But I am just using the Distress Oxide in Chipped Sapphire. This is a beautiful navy. It's probably my most used ink pad. I just love it. So I'm just going to scatter these little leaves just around in my clusters. Just doing a few of those. And then I'm going to take a bit of packaging. I'm just going to smush that same ink down on the packaging. You can see how much ink comes out. It's really lovely and pigmented. It's such a beautiful ink. I'm adding a little bit of water, and I'm also going to add a couple of drops of my white Liquitex acrylic ink. This does a couple of things. It lightens the color up for one, but it also makes it slightly more opaque because the acrylic ink is definitely a very opaque medium. So I'm just going to paint this on. I'm just going around my clusters, and this actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise because some of those leaves that are that same color as the background, this helps helps those leaves pop off the background quite a lot better. So I'm not worrying too much about getting ink or paint on my embellishments. At this point I'm not too worried about it. I'm just splotching it around, and actually I didn't really have to worry. It all just kind of came together quite easily. So I was really worried that this was going to ruin it, but it turns out really lovely in the end. So a bit of a brain malfunction on my part, but it all comes together in the end, thankfully. So I'm just going around my kind of major embellishment clusters and still following that diagonal line down the page. Now once that's done, I'm just going to splatter all around to help tie everything together. And my layout is now going to be finished. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to check that description box below for links to all the other amazing videos in this hop. Close-ups are coming up, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.